All right, everyone, greetings. Welcome to the Fresh Takes Podcast. I am one of the awesome co-hosts of this fine show, Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend himself, wearing quite the hat this evening, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing today, bud?
Thanks for having me, Paul. It's a little chilly in here, but it's definitely hot on the basketball court.
I see what you did there.
For Duke, Syracuse fans, it's been that McConnell dude. He had a game, and he showed up in the dome.
That's true. That's true. You're kind of spoiling part of the podcast already.
I'm sorry if you haven't seen the game. This isn't the podcast for you.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Syracuse is, winning right now at halftime over UNC. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, there's another
on
spoiler
my part there. But, we are here. Nick alluded to...
It'll probably be close to the final when we get done.
Yeah, Nick alluded to one of the topics we're discussing. Also, I think this might be the first podcast I've done without a hat.
It might be.
I just realized that.
It might be. We have to get back
on
the tapes.
We will need to go into the annals of the show here. And
we'll get our stat guy is on it right now.
We'll turn it over to Caucus, our stat guy. But, Nick kind of alluded to it, so why don't we pull up what we will be discussing tonight on the podcast?
Not too bad.
No, but plenty to talk about. We obviously are going to discuss Cuse and Duke. Duke and Cuse, rather, given the circumstances and who was home and who was away.
Yes.
But we'll also take our weekly look overall at NCAA basketball. Then I will jump in to the NHL. Their trade deadline was yesterday. So
it's early in the week, so
we'll take a look at the major trades that happened and also kind of where everyone kind of sits now as the NHL is in their home stretch of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we will discuss some Bryce Harper with y'all.
Spring training started.
Obviously, yeah. And what this means for free agency, what this means for spring training, both as for potential teams and Bryce himself, as well as some guys kind of locked in behind Bryce because of what he's doing. So quite the fun pod.
We'll get to Bryce.
And without further ado, Duke, man, they let's start with this game. It was an odd game. First half, as I describe it, Duke was contained by Syracuse. The Orange did a fantastic job in that. Both teams really couldn't find a rhythm at all the first half. And, you come out at halftime if you're Syracuse, you got to be feeling good, but kind of keep up that defensive mentality. And they really didn't. And Nick said it right off the bat, O'Connell shot tremendous. I mean, lights out from three.
Especially in the second half.
And, Syracuse second half, there's no attack, nothing, constant, nothing consistent. Just for the Orange, and I think they're relatively lucky. We'll obviously discuss a little bit more of it, I think, when we get to the full-fledged deal. I think the Orange are lucky in regards to that. They're pretty much safely in the tournament because of that Louisville win.
Yeah, that helps. Especially if they win tonight, I think it's a lock.
I said it. I pretty much thought that you almost wanted Syracuse to maybe not beat Louisville the way they did because, man, you did have a lot of people saying this Orange team 100% could have upset the Duke team again, even if they did have Zion. That's another thing, too. People acting like this Duke team is extremely lesser without him. Well, they still got the number 1 and 3 recruits in the country on that team.
And 17.
So, yeah, and 17. But, game, man, that was a tough one. Tough one to watch. I don't know how much you watched of it, Nick, but
I watched it.
So,
yes.
So what are some takeaways that you saw from that game?
Just as a Notre Dame fan, if you were watching that game, I don't know if you watched at the start, but you probably were a little anxious because that Notre Dame game, they just kept calling timeout after timeout, and it took forever. And I couldn't even imagine Syracuse fans watching. They're like, get this stupid game off. And then it was awesome. As a Notre Dame fan, we should have beat Virginia Tech that game. We blew it. But anyway, about the game. Tyus Battle, where was he? Didn't see him much a lot. Tyus Battle, big fan of Tyus Battle. Didn't really see him that much in that game. And Zion is a huge loss for Duke. Syracuse could easily have won this game on Saturday. They could easily have won. Zion is I know Barrett and Reddish and Jones are top 20 recruits. But they're not really playing like top 20 recruits. They're not really playing that great. Losing Zion's a huge loss, and if they don't have Zion the rest of the season, I'm definitely not picking them in my tournament. Nope, no way in hell. But Syracuse, Dolezaj looked good. Dolezaj showed some sparks in this game. Boeheim I don't think he played that much. Can't remember him out there that much. Battle didn't really show up. That was huge. And, if O'Connell doesn't hit those 5 threes in the second half, doesn't go off, I think Syracuse wins this game. But it's just, I don't know, Paul. What was the reason they lost this game? What do you think?
I thought they just couldn't get anything consistent going. I thought that was the big thing. I hate doing this because I've been one of his biggest, at least to us, and my brother, who Pat, who was on with us once a month, can attest to this. I tend to be one of Pascal Chukwu's, probably biggest defenders probably around here and biggest supporters. But man, you gotta keep Dolezaj in there for longer. You gotta get. In my opinion, Sidibe should have been out there. Sidibe played great that first game at Duke. I don't know why he didn't get any minutes. But Chukwu, I thought he was doing fine rebounding-wise. Just anytime you dumped it in, anytime after a second he had the ball after a rebound, he was losing it. He had butterfingers the whole game, it seemed. And, that's one of the things. A lot of people are pointing to Frank Howard, and I can kind of understand why. Obviously, that pretty much him dropping the ball there when he, picked up his dribble. But, man, I don't think we really are in that game without some of his shooting on offense either at the same time, especially in the first half. I'd like to see Buddy a little bit more out there too. We needed shooting there down the stretch. And I get that, hey, some of those shots, especially this year with him, are not going down, but he's our only true pure shooter on that team. He's got to be out there when we need him out there. So that's kind of what I took away, at least from the Q side. The Duke side of things, right? It's really interesting because you have, he didn't play a ton. He played 5 minutes, but Joey Baker lost his red shirt this year, the freshman for Duke, because they needed him to play, obviously. And he was a really great spark plug when he came in there that first half for the few minutes. And, Coach K showed it. I don't understand why Syracuse didn't really do it. Plug Sidibe in there. Get Jalen Carey out there a little bit more. Something. They needed something. We didn't have it again, as usual.
What hurts Syracuse, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
What hurts Syracuse, they just don't have a point guard.
They don't have that true point. Well,
Frank Howard has been playing point.
But that's where you could have Jalen Carey come in. He's a point guard.
Yes. And we just sadly found out today about Washington's story.
It's good to see that he is
okay,
healthy here, at least at the moment.
If you didn't know, Howard Washington, backup point guard, right?
Well, he probably would have started this year, would be my bet.
Yeah, he just
he had the ACL injury last year that he was recovering from.
I don't want to be wrong here. He had a stroke.
Yep, back in September, which was actually the reason he had the medical red shirt this year.
So, yeah, he's a big loss to the team.
Yeah.
And Frank Howard's a shooting guard. He's not a point guard. No. And they've been playing him at point. And I don't think Carey's ready to step up and be the starting point guard yet. You like him right now.
Well, yeah, but the thing is if you need a point guard. You have Carey right there, and if you don't want to put him in, that's fine. At that point, I assume seeing Tyus bring the ball up than Frank Howard.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's my deal. And I'm maybe not necessarily pointing the finger at Jimmy on this one, but man, like he's smart enough. There have been certain points this season that I've sat there and gone, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You know? Like, they pressed at the end of the first. I would have come out of the gate in the second half and still pressed. I mean, Duke damn near turned it over right off the bat there in the first half at the end there. So, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be cynical about it. But, man, I really got to wonder how much longer Boeheim's even on the sidelines at this point. I really do.
I don't think he gets past Buddy's career.
Well, that's what everyone's saying. I openly wondered, even this year, is this going to be his last year? Obviously, before the car accident, unfortunately, last week.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was
good to see him coach.
I've heard a couple people, obviously, I don't think something like this gets out without there being some sort of validity to it, but what happens if this is Boeheim's last year now? Who is the first man up? You know,
I think Mike Hopkins is an option.
I don't think we get Mike Hopkins. Here's why. He's in a situation out of Washington where it's a combo of his career and personal life. His dad's not in the best health. He lives in Washington. I'm assuming, and this is what I've heard, that Hopkins is going to ride it out especially out there, until his dad probably passes on. Secondly, they're the best team in the Pac-12. They're only going to get better next year. Why would you leave that? And thirdly, he's finally making a name for himself. And with that in mind, why would he go back to Syracuse, where he was the interim coach here technically for 3 months, and it did not go well? That's kind of where I stand on that. I personally think, and people are saying, you know, Jerry automatically. I don't think Jerry McNamara is ready.
No, I don't think so either.
I think you either have to go. Personally, I'd stick Adrian Autry in there. Maybe
I think he's a coach though.
Well, I'd go Adrian Autry potentially, or I've been on this train for a while. He's a Syracuse guy. His wife still is a reporter in Syracuse. Rob Murphy, Eastern Michigan head coach. I'd go after him. He's got experience.
I will blow your mind, Syracuse fans.
Might as well risk it.
What if you get Pitino?
No. And you're not the first person I've heard that from either. That's the weird thing about that.
That'd be a big name.
That's the weird thing about it. You're not the first person I've heard that from either, which means I don't want Pitino. I don't think the baggage that he has is not worth it to me. I mean, that's just where I stand on it. I don't think the baggage is worth it. I don't even think he's worth it anymore. The vibe I get from him is he almost doesn't care anymore. Obviously, maybe coming to a program, he might get that spark back, but I don't know.
Be the big name.
It'd be a big name, yeah. I mean,
I don't think they're going to go big name.
Some other names I've heard tossed around is Purdue's head coach, Matt Painter, and I'm not huge on him. I mean, I don't even know if he's technically a big name. Yeah.
He's done all right at Peru.
I mean, he's turned that program around, admittedly, and I'll give him credit for that. I just don't know if the Syracuse fit would be good for him. Admittedly, let me put it to you like this. Obviously, Purdue is in Indiana. In my opinion, it's probably slightly easier to recruit people there than, say, upstate New York, only because Indiana is a technical basketball hotbed. I'd assume get somebody in here that knows how to recruit to this area. And I know it's obviously a select few, and I get that, but I'd assume get someone with experience and knows that, and I think Rob Murphy has that, so...
And Syracuse hasn't had another coach in 4 decades.
No. So I don't know. And another good point I heard from Jim Spina, who was my boss, is, they ran a risk on Jim Boeheim at the time of the hire. Why wouldn't they do that again with Jerry? And it's a good point. The things I see from Jerry, I don't know if he's ready for it yet. So,
but we haven't seen him.
No,
so we don't know.
We've kind of strayed off technically, really, from this Duke talk, Duke and Cuse talk.
It's all right.
But we kept it with Cuse.
That's what the pod's all about.
At least in my opinion, we kept it with Duke and Cuse. So, either way, it was a pretty fun game, I think, to watch, at least in the second half. The first half was a very unappealing basketball game. A lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots, a lot of forced shots on both ends. And people talk about, without, Zion, what they would do. RJ Barrett's proven himself pretty damn good. I think he's probably the better of
Shoots
him and Zion. I think he's the better one out of him and Zion anyway. Only because RJ's obviously overall, Zion's pretty one-dimensional.
Definitely better shooter.
Trey Jones, people were knocking on Trey Jones. I thought he played pretty well, all things considered, in that game.
I think he shut down Battle.
He did a very good job in that. And he's considered short. I mean, he's probably 6 foot.
His brother plays in the league, right?
Yeah. His brother plays for the Timberwolves.
Yep.
So
that's right.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, and then the thing with Duke too, they had guys coming off the bench providing good minutes for him as well. You had I won't pronounce it wrong. I couldn't even follow along probably in the game. Delaware.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Number 14.
He did
for Duke.
No. Gold. That's Goldwire. I'm talking about the other guy. 12.
Oh, 12. Yeah, that's right. 12.
I thought he did well, extremely well defensively, shutting down pretty much our interior. We couldn't get anything going on the inside because of him. So, yeah, I mean, obviously on the Syracuse side, they couldn't really get anything going. You can say whatever about numbers. I thought Elijah Hughes, again, probably had the better overall game out of everyone.
I see Hughes is playing well in the first half in his North Carolina game, 5 threes.
Yeah, I mean, he had 12 points and 7 boards, which obviously trails the high score of Tyus Battle. But, I mean, I thought Hughes probably was the best shot we had going.
And he did not make a full court shot this
game. No, we needed him to. And then Buddy Boeheim, when he was in, I thought played tremendous on offense. Especially, he was doing stuff on the interior, which was weird. He had 4 rebounds total all game, and 2 of them were on offense.
I'll give him some credit. He's been a nice little spark plug for the team.
Yeah.
Nice piece, off the bench. They need that.
Yeah, it's been the one thing that I feel like Cuse has been kind of lacking, obviously, in the past few years here. And, you can only hope this keeps going, I guess. If you're Cuse, you hope that, obviously, tonight's I think they'll split between UNC and Virginia. I honestly think tonight they'll probably end up losing, unfortunately. But I think we beat Virginia at home on Saturday.
Senior day.
So that's kind of where I stand on that.
The Virginia game is next Monday. Big Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just for the viewers at home.
So, with that in mind, we'll just...
Oh, but one real question before we go.
Yeah.
Will Duke and Syracuse play another game this year?
I mean, I'm sure we have the potential of it. I don't know how the ACC bracket's exactly looking right now. Duke lost, obviously, tonight to Virginia Tech. So that's
I'm going to say, yeah. I think they're going to stick them in the same bracket in the NCAA tournament again.
Oh, you're saying in the NCAA bracket, not the ACC. Oh, well.
Yep. I'm going to say NCAA.
I mean, obviously it's possible, but...
Syracuse's recent history in the ACC has given me that... I don't know if they'll play at a team like that.
So... excuse me. It's only Tuesday. It's already been one of those types of weeks.
Hey, at least it's not the infamous Monday podcast that we had.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Well, we got to do what we got to do.
But we got to finish up strong here.
Yeah.
40 minutes.
So we'll take a trip around college hoops now. So we already got some games going on today.
You got the bubble?
Yeah, we'll discuss the bubble obviously here in a second.
Who's on the bubble?
I mean, it depends who you look at.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Fox Sports, they have different teams than ESPN, who has different teams than CBS.
Notre Dame fan, our bubbles pop.
Your bubble popped probably. I mean, probably about
4 losses ago.
I'd say mid-December. So,
This guy.
but yeah, let me find the bubble here. So,
What?
CBS still has Syracuse as a bubble team.
So we still have, for the big conferences, we still have 2 weeks left
Yeah.
of regular season play.
Well, really 10 days for the most part.
Yes.
Not full 2 weeks because the last games are
Actually,
Monday/Tuesday in a couple weeks.
Actually, 2 weeks from today is the start of the ACC tournament.
Yeah, so
get your TVs out. There will be.
so
There is no game. There will not be a game on when this podcast goes 2 weeks from now.
no. You want to? We'll do bubble first since you brought it up, Nick. I don't have a problem with that. So the bubble teams right now, for the most part, I'll go with the general consensus ones.
Okay.
Alabama.
Is in.
Well, they're key. They're playing. They played tonight against South Carolina.
Are they in?
They have them. Doesn't say on this website.
That's all right.
CBS doesn't have them listed.
So they're on the bubble.
Yeah. Ohio State's on the bubble. Butler, TCU. VCU is a team that I told you I've been saying now about the A10. They're leading the A10. So they're a team to watch anyway.
You say NC State's on the bubble?
No. Ohio State.
Ohio State.
No, CBS has Syracuse on the bubble. They're saying a win tonight against UNC would probably knock them off the bubble and solidify. Temple's on the bubble, and then Utah State's also on the bubble, according to CBS.
Utah State.
Pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd put Syracuse on the bubble. I also don't know if I'd put, as weird as it sounds, VCU on the bubble, only because I think even if they don't win their conference tournament, I'd have to put them in based on their record and wins that they've had.
Yeah.
So
I haven't really seen VCU play.
no.
They got a good record?
Yeah, they're leading the A10.
Okay.
They have an overall of 21-6.
So they got a chance to win the tournament.
And for a non-Power 5, their away record of 6-4 certainly does help them. And then obviously, so we'll come back to the bubble a little bit here. I'm trying not to get ahead of ourselves really, but so today's games, we obviously have some in progress. Cuse, they're down by 8 right now at the 15-minute media timeout. 58-49. Indiana's beating Wisconsin right now. 11 minutes to go there. Buffalo won. Duke lost. Virginia Tech beat them at Tech. Ohio State upset Iowa by 20 today. So that certainly is a big shot in their bubble.
They got beat by Iowa?
Bubble helps. No, they beat Iowa.
Oh.
Yesterday, Kansas beat Kansas State. So that's, obviously something to keep an eye on there because the Big 12 Circle of Suck race is really ramping up. Well, let's take a look at some games ahead for the rest of the week. Does that sound good to you, Nick?
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll start in the Big East because there's some interesting developments going on there over the past couple of weeks if you pay attention to college hoops. Villanova came surging back here about a month and a half ago. They got up to a top 10 again, I think, a few weeks ago. And now they're skidding again. They're back to being unranked. They've lost 3 in a row. Big home game tomorrow against 10th ranked Marquette. That Marquette team is no joke.
And they beat them.
They did beat them earlier this year. So it'll be interesting to see how all that goes.
It was at Marquette, right?
Yeah. Some other games tomorrow to pay attention to. I think really technically I'd only say one. That's Houston at East Carolina. East Carolina probably won't beat them, but it's an interesting game to watch because East Carolina could play them tough.
Does Houston still only have one loss?
Yeah, Houston overall is 26-1. East Carolina's buried in the standings. They're 10-16 overall, 3-11 in the conference. But the big but there is they're 9-7 at home. So it's something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. Houston, they're locked in a pretty big battle with Cincinnati. And to a degree, UCF and Temple for the American Conference as well. Look ahead to Thursday. Again, you can't really say there's nothing maybe too major. You could kind of potentially make a case for the Pac-12, Oregon, and Arizona State play. Arizona State, they're trying to make a case. Not a lot of people have them on their own bubble. I think they are on the bubble. They play really tough against teams. They have a decent record in conference-wise, too.
Yeah, the record's got to be decent in the Pac-12.
Yeah. So that's something to keep an eye on as well there. Michigan is home against Nebraska Thursday. That probably won't be anything too disastrous there. Friday, a lot of your smaller conferences are in play then.
That's their big day.
As I said, I kind of alluded to it. Was it last week? I'm trying to remember. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Nick, about that team in the other Division I team in the Finger Lakes area being Cornell. So the Ivy League is in play on Friday. I believe, let me double check the standings here really quick. So Cornell's dropped a spot now in the Ivy, so it's not looking tremendously great for them.
But
they can still fight. They are playing number 1 Yale in the Ivy Friday night, so that's a good game to watch as well. And then Penn is at Harvard. Harvard's in play for the Ivy as well.
What place is Cornell in?
Cornell is 4th.
All right, so top 4 make the playoffs there.
Well, they only play the one game, right?
4. It's top 4.
They do top 4 now?
Semifinals,
okay.
Yeah.
So they're in play for it,
It's
obviously.
nice to have a
They just need to beat. Obviously, a win against Yale would help in that regard. Buffalo, obviously, if you're a New York State fan, I'll give you those quick. Buffalo is on the road against Miami of Ohio for the MAC. And then the battle of I-90, Siena's at Canisius. Which side's of I-90, Nick? Where's Siena and where's Canisius?
What is it, north and south?
I-90, Nick. The thruway.
I-90.
Yes.
The thruway.
Yes.
So is it?
It's east-west.
East and west. So Siena's on the east.
You're right.
Yeah.
Good for you.
50% guess.
Canisius almost went there. So.
Really?
Yep.
They're both. So Siena is Syracuse, right?
Siena's near Albany.
Near Albany. Okay, so it's Albany, Buffalo.
Yep.
Okay, I gotcha.
Saturday, obviously that's where all the big games are getting played. Excuse me. So teams obviously keep an eye on. Florida State's home against NC State. Kansas goes on the road to play Oklahoma State. Michigan State on the road against Indiana. Cuse, they go on the road to face the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest.
Gotta win that game.
They do.
What time's that game on? On what channel?
Noon. I don't know what channel. I'm assuming it might be a crappy Raycom broadcast.
But it's always on the Watch ESPN.
A potential game of the weekend is going to be in the SEC. Number 13 LSU goes to Bubble Team Alabama. That game will probably be really fun to watch. Another bubble team to me in the A-10, Davidson. They're home against Fordham. Davidson, they are still second, 1 game out of VCU in the A-10. Excuse me. Then some other bigger games I guess to keep an eye on, sort of. Virginia, they're home against Pitt. Yeah, the SEC definitely has probably games of the week. Tennessee hosts Kentucky. Then another battle of potential bubble teams. You have Butler going to Villanova. So Saturday you got a big old slate of obviously big games and obviously some small games. UCF, they're on the bubble. They go to Houston Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I mean Saturday it's a game.
It's getting down to it.
It's a packed house. It is really one of those things. Depending on how you look to too. Clemson's on the bubble. They host UNC Saturday night. So a lot of games to keep an eye on. Nevada hosts Utah State hosts Nevada Saturday night out west. So plenty of games to keep an eye on. Sunday, not really any games in particular to keep an eye on.
That's like the Big Ten day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Big Ten. You have Pac-12 going, some minor teams too. Michigan goes to Maryland on Sunday, so that's a big ranked game to keep an eye on as well. So
there's a lot of teams this year that are going to make the tournament, and will have no clue how far to take them.
Yeah.
One of those teams that made me think of that was Maryland.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be in, and I have no clue how far I want to take Maryland.
Yeah, they're...
Sad to say it, Syracuse another one team. You could be Syracuse that goes to the Final Four. It could be Syracuse loses to Vermont and Butler. You just don't know. Teams like that, Kansas State, another team. Nevada, another team. Buffalo, like these teams, I don't know. I don't know what to do with them. You don't really guarantees, I think. But it's March. You don't know. Like, you can say, oh, UNC's definitely give you the Sweet 16 at least. But you just don't know. And that's why picking a perfect bracket is very hard. I hope Warren Buffett there hands out $1 billion to the guy who gets it. Because it's never been done. Never been done. But, yeah, it's interesting. We'll get into it, bracketology.
Bracketing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, I don't think we got anything else for college hoops right now. It's, like I said, packed week. Backloaded-wise, I'd say. Nothing, I guess, really big during the week.
It's just the calm before the storm.
100% true with that.
There's 2 more weeks of this, regular season for the big conferences. A couple more weekends.
You know what's interesting about Cuse, the way I'm looking at the standings, we could have a first day bye in the ACC tournament.
Cuse?
Yeah. Because you know how they have it structured?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they're definitely getting the single bye.
So Virginia's 1, UNC 2, Duke 3, Virginia Tech 4.
They were trying to go for the double bye.
And then you have Syracuse in at 6.
The Virginia Tech win today hurt them. That hurt.
Potentially, but Tech was already 4th because they have the tiebreaker over Florida State. So
and Cuse.
Yeah.
What's the Q score, by the way? Update?
Oh, I could be more than happy to oblige you. We're at the 11:30 mark. At least that's what we get updates at.
Yeah.
63-59 UNC. So I'll keep that up as we move on to the rink, and we'll discuss the NHL because the trade deadline was yesterday, and we had some big names on the move. So we'll take, obviously, the winners and losers of the deadline. And then we'll just take a quick glimpse at, obviously, the playoff outlooks and everything like that. Sound good to you? I'll start here we'll do winners and losers here first. Winner. And you may not like this, Nick. I'd say the winner, one of the big winners here on the undertones of it, is your New York Rangers. Because, obviously, they gave up some of their bigger names, admittedly, right?
Hayes, Zuccarello.
But they got picks for their future. I think one of those trades, they got a prospect even out of it. So that helps them. Obviously, they started off relatively good, somewhat hot, kind of tailed off here in the past month and a half or so. So why not? You might as well just go ahead and get what you can out of these guys. And, hey, you look at it and you end up with a relatively good field day.
Who else did they trade? Zuccarello, Hayes.
Oh, there was another one.
There is another one.
Jesus. I can't remember. I'm looking for it, too, and I can't find it.
He was the last one. He's like the last guy that got traded.
That's around. A lot of dead silence going on right now.
McQuaid. Adam McQuaid.
Nah, but that was... When was that, though?
That was yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Yep, yesterday.
Wow.
They got picks out of that.
So, yeah. I'd say another winner, you gotta give it to them. The Nashville Predators got out and they got their big name. They got Wayne Simmons from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I'd consider relatively cheap. They flipped a lower end forward in Ryan Hartman, and they tossed in a 4th-round pick for next year's draft. That's a haul. That's a good trade for Nashville right there, I tell you. They are bolstering themselves up pretty good. Ottawa was a seller. Yeah, I'll give them a win or two, only because they're stuck. They might move. They're trying to get a new arena. The owner's terrible. At least from on ice perspective, they did good for the future. They traded away Mark Stone to the Golden Knights, and he's signed an extension already with them. But they got a couple good younger players and a pick out of that deal. So it's good to see there. Losers.
Who is losing?
I will go ahead and kind of say this, even though
Penguins?
I mean, I wouldn't say they didn't win, but they didn't lose either. They did enough, I think, to kind of help what they needed, although I don't know if it really puts them over the top. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. The Red Wings, I wasn't too sure. Obviously, I thought they should have traded away some of their guys to trade away Nyquist. But, man, they put his price tag really high initially. And considering what they got was just – they got a second-round pick for this year's draft and a third-round pick for next year's, which admittedly for hockey is kind of high. It's all like the NFL trades. But, man, the fact you couldn't get the top-tier prospect that you initially asked for, hard for me to say you won in that case. I'm going to sound like a homer here because of my own personal team. I want to see them bolster up the defense in a way, and they didn't do anything with the Lightning. They're going to ride with what they got. Admittedly, I'm kind of excited to see it's the first time we've done that. So be cool to see kind of what we got now. See if this team is actually the real deal. I mean, they are rolling. They're the real deal. We got to 100 points yesterday via the shootout victory. So it will be fun to kind of see. Nick, I know you don't pay attention as much to hockey as I do, but outside looking in, I guess this is a really cool perspective. And what did you see? Where you looking forward to, and all that kind of deal.
I like to see Nashville doing something because I am rooting for Nashville this year. Maybe your Lightning and the Nashville Predators meet in the Stanley Cup Finals.
People will die of alcohol poisoning, I think, if that happens.
My one friend Josh lives near Nashville.
Nash Vegas.
And I told him I'm going down in June for the Stanley Cup Finals.
Are you? Wait, are you going down anyway? Or?
I want to. I don't know how my financially looks to get down there, but
well, we took a dark turn.
I want to get down there, and if Nashville's in the Stanley Cup Finals, that would be golden. If the New York Rangers can make a late run, that'd be even better. But good to hear that they're doing something, helping push. But Vegas getting back would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Go Rangers!
Go Rangers!
Nice to see they're rebuilding.
So we'll give you a quick playoff outlook. So if the playoffs started today, your, I guess technically top team in the East, obviously, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Boston, they're good again. They made a couple moves yesterday at the deadline.
God, can we not see Boston win a championship? Like I'm starting to get sick of it.
I can't say I blame you. So your top 6 teams would be Tampa, Boston, Toronto, the New York Islanders. Barry Trotz doing a tremendous job with them. The Washington Capitals, the Carolina Hurricanes would be the 3 outright teams that get in. And then your wild card teams at the moment are Pittsburgh and Columbus. Columbus coming on really well here as of late.
What are the Sabres?
The Sabres are they're kind of buried. I don't think they're going to make it.
No?
No, they're differential. They need a big swing differential-wise to kind of get them. Now, they're only 7 points really back technically, but their differential goal-wise is not good, -18. So, got to do a little better with that.
They're young.
Out west.
Got a star.
Out west, you have Nashville. You got Winnipeg. And you got let me rephrase this. Calgary technically would be the one. Calgary, then San Jose, Nashville, Winnipeg, St. Louis, and Vegas. And then
Calgary.
And then the wild card. Wild cards are Dallas, Minnesota. They're in right now, both with negative point diffs.
I can't picture Calgary winning a championship.
Don't say that to them. And then you have Colorado with a positive differential, the first team on the out via tiebreaker with Minnesota.
Toronto looks good, aren't they?
Yeah, Toronto, again, not too sure if this will be their year. They really seem to do this every year now at this point where
Joke.
they got, pretty much for lack of a better term. And, one year it's the forwards, maybe one year it's the defenders. Last year was the goaltending. You never know with them. So the NHL here coming down the stretch is going to be fun to watch. Really awesome time now to watch hockey if you are just even a casual observer of it. You got games pretty much every night almost on NBCSN. For instance, Tampa Bay was on last night. I don't think there were any games on there tonight, but obviously Wednesday night hockey, Wednesday night rivalry night.
Big night.
And then now Thursdays you have some games on there always popping up. And then obviously Sundays they have the game of the week and everything like that on NBC. So
was there an outdoor game not that long ago?
Yeah, the Stadium Series was over the weekend in Philadelphia.
It turned out good?
Yeah. Thought it turned out really well, at least in my opinion. So with that in mind, Nick, would you like a score update from the UNC Syracuse game?
I would.
UNC 76, Syracuse 73, 7:45 left in the second half.
76-73.
Yeah, high-scoring affair it seems to be going on right now. So with that in mind,
That is something.
we'll move on to the last topic, a very fun and interesting one for us. Whoa. Bryce Harper, he's still unsigned. Obviously, some news coming out today about some stuff, but we'll tackle that a little bit when we discuss here. Obviously, still unsigned. Machado signed last week officially with the Padres.
Yeah.
So Harper's the last,
Signed.
I guess, technical big fish now.
But like I said, spring training has started.
Yeah. We alluded to this a few podcasts ago. This seems to be a trend. Started a few years ago, now we're kind of in the full effects of it. And you have a lot of guys, like, you have guys now behind him in free agency who are just taking, like, minor league deals just to get into spring training and try and crack a ball club, right? Like, obviously, he's not Bryce Harper level, but Logan Forsythe is a really good utility guy. And he signed a minor league deal today with the Rangers to get an invite to spring training. Like, guys like him I don't think should be going unsigned this late. Marwin Gonzalez took forever to get just a 2-year deal with the Twins over the weekend.
You said Logan Forsythe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's unsigned. Keuchel.
Well, those are pitching, and, they're also kind of waiting on that deal. You had Nolan Arenado sign an extension for a lot of money, 8 years, $325, which breaks the position player record.
Yeah.
So that now means Harper's going to be like, hey,
yeah,
you got to make it more than that proportioned out-wise. So now we're for sure talking probably a 3 at least somewhere in the 330 range is what he's going to be asking.
He's going to beat both of them.
Yeah. So
and Aaron Hicks, nice deal.
yeah. Well, it's a friendly contract.
Yeah.
So
That's a nice deal.
So Nick, we'll go to you first then,
Okay.
fully here, and give us your opinion on this, because it certainly is.
Well,
It's a trouble. In my opinion, it's a troubling, interesting situation.
third time I've said it. Spring training has started, and Bryce Harper has not signed, and I think it's just time. If he doesn't sign today, he missed a day. He's missed a week now.
Yep.
If he doesn't sign tomorrow, it's another day. If he doesn't sign Thursday, it's another day he's missed. If he keeps missing days, he's not going to get to know. I know he's not a pitcher or a catcher to learn all the signs. He's not an infielder. He's an outfielder. It's probably the least ready position you could just go out there and play out of any of the positions. And yeah, but you still need to find a team. You still need to get to know the team. You still need to get the chemistry with the team. And you hate to see it, because he's probably going to get that 330, like you said. Probably going to get that. And you don't want to see his head get big. And we've seen over Bryce Harper's career where his head has gotten big. And that would even put him over the top. And if he goes into a team with a big head, then he's going to be very arrogant, and he ain't going to care about the rest of his teammates, no matter who the team is. I'd love to see him sign with a small market team, knowing that won't happen. But if he does, I don't think he'll treat the team very well. I think he'll think he's the best player automatically. And this is a guy that is coming off. I know he didn't see very many good pitches last year. I know that. And he fighting with injuries. But he's coming off one of probably the worst season of his career. And the fact that he's going to beat Nolan Arenado's record, and he's going to beat Manny Machado's record for overall contracts in such years and plus years. But Bryce Harper needs to sign with a team. It's over. Just sign with the team, get it over with, and start helping the team out. Because right now he's doing nothing.
Well, it seems like Philly and the Dodgers are probably the two.
Yeah, and I've also heard something. The Yankees might be back into it.
Yeah, but if they're signing Hicks, I don't think they're gonna give him the extension. I doubt it.
No, I think the Nationals are done.
Yeah, they kind of already said they're done.
Yeah, but it would be something if he beats Machado's record and Arenado's record, record.
So, it's just so weird.
I'm so sick of saying when's Harper going to sign.
Yeah.
And there was rumors he was going to do it when Machado's press conference was going on, but that didn't happen.
No, you're right. But it's so... It's depressing as a baseball fan, only because you got other guys, too, in line. And I said it earlier this year, and I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh, these guys are struggling financially, but these guys need to play too. It's it's not like it's just you out there. But he's causing a backup, admittedly, on these lines. So it's certainly something. Obviously, the players' union and the owner's side and the CBA, we're gonna have a spat here coming up when it comes time to bargain after 2020, and unfortunately, and I hate to be that guy, I think we got a strike coming because of this, because of the players doing this.
Probably.
I really do. Think about it, like last year with Arrieta. He held out until the very end pretty much. I mean, this is going on now. You at least have a case of this, at least one or two players every year doing this.
Now, you know more history than I do. What happened in '94 when they had played? They started the season.
So the way it varies. Now you have pretty much it's unified where it's in the off season when the CBAs expire. So the baseball was unique because it technically expired in the off season, but they did what was effectively like a 6-month extension on it, so they could negotiate. Mm-hmm. And then, players wanted a deal, obviously, and this goes back, obviously before the TV rights and everything like that. The players wanted more money. The owners didn't exactly have it. Pretty much the players didn't want to strike. That was their deal. They didn't want to strike. It was effectively at that point came down to the owners literally pretty much locking the doors to stadiums effectively. It didn't actually happen like that, but it effectively came to them locking the doors.
And they just canceled the season.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really fun and unique season. Looking
Tony
back
Gwynn,
on it.
right?
Yeah, Tony Gwynn could have ended up over 400. You might have been looking at more than likely a World Series that would have been
When did it happen?
August.
So it was late.
Yeah.
And who was the World Series?
You were looking at a potential World Series more than likely matchup of the New York Yankees from the AL and from the NL, the Montreal Expos. The strike effectively killed baseball in Montreal, at least that time around. And obviously, I think eventually they get a team again, but that's here nor there to that conversation.
Now all those contracts that were out that year just ended after that.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, no, if you had a contract, obviously you're still like whatever.
But that year in the contract is
Yeah, but that year was done. You were done playing. I mean, they canceled the season. And technically, they didn't have a deal signed until late February, beginning of March next year. They had replacement players ready to go. Another fun fact about that strike, Michael Jordan was going to be a replacement player, but he didn't want to cross the picket line because he was still technically a higher-ranking official in the NBA Players Association. So he knew that he didn't want to cross that line. In the NFL, you were called a scab if you were to cross the line when they had the replacement players in their 87 strike. He didn't want to be a scab. So, there's your nerdy history lesson. But, yeah, effectively with that, in 94, that was more or less a standard, more money type deal. The CBA this time around, you're going to have a lot more of a, I think, technology deal come around here because of the way you have different abilities to view the game and because of the free agency now.
When is the CBA up?
At the end of 2020.
2020.
So we have 2 full years still left on this CBA.
And it's going to get even worse by 2020.
Yeah, the off season in between 2020 and 21 will be.
Don't we have Trout coming on the free agency?
Yeah, Trout's next year. Well, he's really the only bigger name now because of Arenado signing the extension with Colorado.
You never know. There could be another star that builds his name this year.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You never know, really. And it's obviously that's to expect too. It's something I thought about today at work, right, is you look at this from a spring training perspective. So if you're a guy trying to make the club on Philadelphia or Los Angeles as an outfielder, how does this make you feel? Because you're going to be either playing in either Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in AAA, or I have no idea who the Dodgers AAA affiliate is anymore.
Well, that's what I was telling my brother Matt.
Like, how do you feel? Where?
Pat practice started, and his spot's pretty much gone because you're never going to beat him out.
No.
Not $30 million Machado. But he is playing third, huh?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's a good fit because I don't know. Who is their shortstop?
No idea.
I know, but I just don't know it right now because I'm not a Padres guy. Not a Padres guy. I'm sorry, Eric Hosmer. I'm sorry. But, Bryce Harper. Sign already.
So I think that does a really good job of wrapping up the podcast this week, if I do say so myself.
It was a good one.
Nick, hit it with me one more time.
Hit it what?
Score update.
Oh, score update.
Syracuse,
Score
76. UNC, 83. 3:30 left.
What is it?
83-76 UNC.
Oh, how much time left?
3:30.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's a big old yikes indeed.
Going to be interesting at the Russo house tonight.
So, Nick, I'm going to throw it to you as always. Who is the shout-out of the week?
Well, I have some sad news, and I also have a shout-out.
Whoa, sad news.
Sad news. So it's breaking news.
Whoa.
3 weeks from now.
Oh.
I will not be...
It's breaking news to the listeners and viewers.
I will not be on the show. 3 weeks from now, you will experience a Fresh Takes podcast like no other.
Yeah.
I will be at Vegas with the fam.
Yeah.
And Paul...
I don't know.
You can tweet at Paul who you want it to be.
Yet.
Who do you want to
I could do this by myself.
That could be an option. Do it by himself.
No, I'm going to find someone. I don't know who I'm going to bring in yet. I got a few different people in mind. A few different people I'm going to ask, obviously. So, yeah.
Tweet at Paul. Who do you want him to co-host?
Big seat over there.
But the shout-out is breaking news for my family today.
Whoa.
my Aunt Sheila, my Uncle George, and my cousin Jack will be joining us on Vegas trip 3 weeks from now.
Wow.
So shout out to them.
Big breaking. Oh, God.
Other breaking news, Paul has died on this podcast, and you will be experiencing 2 new co-hosts 3 weeks from now.
Oh, gosh.
But that is double breaking news, triple shout out. I think that's the first ever triple shout out. This is a big day, but I am going to be watching it from the phone 3 weeks from now.
Wow.
But next week, Pat will be back on for his monthly trip.
He should be. I don't know. We never know, though, with him.
Yeah, I think he wants to talk some baseball, but we'll see what we
got that on tap, too, here. We will formally introduce that panel probably here in a couple weeks, I'd say. That will be the week. We'll do it the week after. The week after, I think.
Yes, after I come back from baseball.
There'll be a series of baseball already in, but...
We might have to get some first round talk in for a little bit, because there might be something crazy happening.
Yeah.
You never know, but it's going to be mostly...
But it will be it will probably just be a full-fledged baseball preview show.
Yep.
We'll probably spend the first 5 or so minutes just doing NCAA talk quick, but
yes, just
other than that, it'll be a
case is another UMBC.
Yeah. So Nick, thanks again for the shout-outs to people, and that does it for us here at Fresh Takes for the week. If you haven't, you should definitely like, subscribe, and share all the fun stuff.
Call in,
do that. And we'll catch you next week then on the Fresh Takes podcast.